I want to study the Bible, but when I went to the bookstore, there were so many different Bibles on the shelf to choose from. How do I know what is the right Bible version for me? The Old Testament was written in Hebrew and Aramaic. The New Testament is written in Greek. Unless you know how to read Hebrew, Aramaic, or Greek, you will need to trust a translator to translate the Hebrew, Aramaic, or Greek texts into English. There are 3 approaches or methods to translation. The translator must pick one of these methods to use in translating the Bible. The first method is word-for-word translation. Each word in the biblical text is translated into English in order to keep the translation as close as possible to the original text. The problem in translating foreign words are the idioms and words which do not have an English equivalent. Therefore, the translator will have to come as close as possible by using English words. Despite these difficulties, the translators, using a word-for-word method, will create a translation as close as possible to the original text, but it may be a bit rough to read. This is called formal equivalence. It is a literal translation. Some popular literal translations are the King James Version, New King James II Bible, American Standard Version, New American Standard Bible, Revised Standard Version, Young's Literal Translation, and the Jewish Publication Society. The next method of translating the Bible is capturing the original meaning of the source language and translate it into the receptor language, which in our case is English. The translators are still concerned with keeping as close as possible to the original meaning of the text, but may use modern language to capture that meaning. This is different slightly from word for word. This type of translation, or the idea of capturing the meaning of a text, is called dynamic equivalent. Some popular dynamic equivalent translations are the New International Version, English Standard Version, Contemporary English Version, Good News Bible, New American Bible, Revised English Bible, Knox Translation, the New English Bible, and today's English Version. The last method of translation is a paraphrase. It is a loose translation of the original text in words that are easy to understand. It will forego a word-for-word method, but try to capture the bigger idea of the author in simple language that all people can understand. Some popular Bible paraphrases are The Message by Eugene Peterson, the Living Bible, Contemporary English Version, the Amplified Bible, and the Phillips Translation. Now back to our original question. How do I know what Bible version is right for me? Well, that depends on what you're doing. If you want to study the Bible, you need a literal translation because that will help you stay as close to the original wording of the text. I'd recommend the New American Standard Bible, the King James Version, or the Revised Standard Version. Likewise, you can continue to do study, but you want to capture the meaning because the rough translation is too much for you, then you need the dynamic equivalent. Some versions are the NIV, the ESV, or the Good News Bible. If you're reading devotionally and you want a new perspective, then I'd recommend a paraphrase like The Message or the Living Bible. I recommend that you learn Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic if you're really going to learn to have a deep study of the scriptures. But for those that don't want to learn a new language, if you can learn the alphabet of each, you're able to use interlinears, which translate roughly the Greek so you can see the English and the Greek together with the Greek words. As well, if you know your alphabet, you're able to use dictionaries and lexicons that will help you identify the Greek words and be able to find them. I'm the Academic Dean. My name is Tom Marshall of Maritime Christian College. This has been a way for you to find out what the best version of the Bible is.